Okay, greetings, beloved family. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Most Merciful, I bear witness that there is no God but Allah, and I bear witness that Muhammad is his messenger. I greet you, my beloved brothers and sisters, people around the world, those of you who are viewing at the present time. I greet you in the greeting words of peace. We say it in the ancient tongue of Arabic, Assalamu alaikum. Dear beloved family, welcome, welcome, welcome once again. Shalom, shalom, Jah, Rastafari. Peace be upon all of you. Welcome once again to another episode of the Image and Nation Show. My name is Brother Leo Muhammad, and I'm the host of the Image and Nation Show, and sitting right alongside me is my co-host and good friend and companion and wife, best friend for many, many, many years, my beloved sister
Claudia Muhammad. Assalamu alaikum, family. Welcome to another edition of the Image and Nation Show. I pray that you are all safe and well. I'm crying today because I'm cold. I'm not cold inside, but it's cold outside. I said I opened my mouth too soon last week. I was boasting, yeah, the weather's been great. It's been nice and it's so cold.
Ooh.
-2. Maybe that's not nothing to some people. But
is it -2
it
now?
was today.
Okay.
Early this morning.
Yeah.
But then that may be nothing to some people. But for me, myself and Nicole, we don't really get on that well.
Yeah, I mean, you know, if you're viewing from Chicago and those places, I mean, I don't know what the weather is like there, but I know in the past
cold.
when we've been, yeah.
That's beyond cold. That's something else.
That wind chill.
That's right.
We specifically had leather coats designed.
Well, we had our furs. You had
and the sisters had furs, brothers had leathers to deal with that biting cold.
Oh, it tears your skin up.
In Chicago, yeah. Wow.
Very cold.
They call it the Windy City, don't they? Yeah.
Do.
And there was a wind chill there, man, that really just took cold onto a whole different level.
Exactly.
And then Detroit, that was another level of cold.
Yeah.
My goodness.
It's scary. But our brother John from Belize, what's your weather like?
Oh man, Belize.
Yes.
We're coming, brother John. We're coming tomorrow.
Oh, really? That would be great. But that's not true, brother John.
Praise be to Almighty God Allah. Thank you so much, dear beloved family, for your participation in the Image and Nation Show. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Don't forget to let us know where you are in the world, where you are tuned in, whether you're tuned in live right now or you're going to view later. Maybe you can hear us, but you can't see us. We are very, very honored, very privileged to be with you once again this evening, dear family. We are continuing our series of conversations, basically, with you on the Image and Nation Show. We are continuing what we started now some 3 weeks ago. And so we say welcome to episode 59 of the Image and Nation Show, entitled The Silly Season, or you can say welcome to the Silly Season Part 3, dear beloved family. This is what we are looking at this whole time period, this winter solstice, this time in which we are living, and what takes place during the month of December, the lead up to the month of December, and through December right into January the 1st, what they call New Year. We want to just basically look at some of the realities behind this so-called holiday season. And our objective, the aim, the objective is to really discourage our brothers and sisters and all righteous human beings from really diving into, sinking into the morass, the I don't know, man, the bog, the filth and the debauchery that this season represents. We want to encourage you to believe that you can do better, that you don't have to go along with a world like this in order to get along, in a world like this, and that if you choose an alternative way of life, you could be doing yourself and your family, your loved ones, and the unborn ones yet to come a tremendous favor by showing them that there is an alternative to this, which is, billed as goodwill to all men and the season of giving, when in reality, dear family, it's more about taking, and it's more about the destruction of the members of the human family. So, dear family, this is what we are dealing with this evening. But I have to be honest with you. I think I confessed to you last week, I don't really like the subject because it actually annoys me to the degree that this thing has permeated the very being of the members of the human family. And it's very difficult to really talk about such things and try to persuade our people to do otherwise. But we have a job, we have a task, we have a mission. And irrespective and regardless of how difficult it is, we will continue to strive and to endeavor to get the point across and to see if we can change some minds and see if we can change some hearts. Dear beloved brothers and sisters and family members, again, there's a lot of things going on in the world. And even before we can rejoin our subject and going into part 3, I really wanted to just do a little something different this week as well, because, I was online, I was looking at different publications, and this headline jumped out at me. It said, racist Black Hebrew Israelites becoming more militant. And, when I saw that headline, I said, oh, okay, what's this? Because, as a member of the Nation of Islam, we've heard these terms bandied about and aimed at us for many, many years. Well, I mean, since our inception, in truth and in reality, racist Black Hebrew Israelites becoming more militant. And so I thought, before we dive back into our subject this evening, I thought we would take a brief look into one of the movements taking place on the planet that's causing the enemy palpitations. They've got palpitations of the jugular vein. They've got palpitations of the heart, dear family. And I wanted to point out why that every Black person globally must unite. This is really, really important based on what we are witnessing, the hysteria over this event that took place recently. Okay, so somebody was peeping out from behind their curtain. I thought that was quite funny. Peeping out from behind their curtain in an upstairs window and filming, recording this. And believe me, family, I also searched long and hard to try and find more representative images of what took place when the Hebrew Israelites took to the streets. And I could not find, it's like they've tried to delete as much as they possibly can, because they don't want that image. And then when I was looking and looking at what they've written, I mean, if you could read some of what they've written about the demonstrations which have been taking place by the black Hebrews, by the Hebrew Israelites marching along the road and chanting, "We are the real Jews," or the real Hebrews, and being bold and courageous in coming out in their thousands in order to show the reality of who black people are. What I've been reading, literally some of the articles, a few dozen. They say, really? This is the language, a small number. This is as God is my witness. You should go and do your own research and just listen to the lies that these people tell, because they are shook up. They are afraid of what is happening since the attack on Kanye, or should I say Ye, and also Kyrie Irving. You know, since the attack on those two brothers, a lot of Hebrews have come out, man, to say, listen, you know, we're not having this, okay? Because these who are calling anti-Semitism at the top of their lungs, every black person that designs to stand up and be a man or to be a woman, these people come out and try to crush our people. And we're at that point, dear family, where many of us now have had enough. And so we're not going to be cowed. We're not going to be bowed. We are going to stand up and tell the truth. We are going to stand up and be counted in this day and age, dear family. Brothers and sisters, I'm showing you this not because of any rivalry or unrighteous competition, but on the contrary, I'm showing this to demonstrate the power and value of Black unity, whether Muslim, Hebrew, Christian, or Rastafarian. All of us must unite to defeat our collective enemy. This enemy is against every single one of us, irrespective and regardless of what we call ourselves, including all of the so-called gangs. And that's when we will begin to see real social, political, and economic change, dear family, when we finally determine that we are one united family. The Nation of Islam are the original street warriors. I say that with no apology, being a living and righteous example of what disciplined unity and nation building looks like, dear beloved brothers and sisters. This is our legacy. This is what we as a nation of people have done for many, many years. And so at this time, let me show you a little bit of what the Nation of Islam has been about.
Allahu Akbar! You had a good home, but you left. That's right. You had a good home, but you left. That's right. Coming down. Whose soldiers are we? Whose soldiers are we? Left, right, left, peace. One sound. How you feel? Right, sir. Right, left, right. Hey, how you feel? Right, sir. How you feel? Right, sir. Drill is mind and body control. You understand? Yes. You snap your head, left, hey, how you feel? Right, sir. Right, 19. Hey. Let's not count off. Right, hey. Let's move out. Take over the middle. Go over there. Count, case, count up. 1, 2.
I'm Michael Reel, and this is RealUrbanNews.com. We are in the Jordan Downs housing project in South Central Los Angeles with the Nation of Islam, as they fan out across this housing project and other urban communities throughout South Central Los Angeles, spreading peace and unity in these turbulent times.
One, two, three, four. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Going door to door, the most powerful organ of truth on the planet.
So
I would like for you, the mighty P.O.W.E.R, to help me. We will bring up our international representative, Brother Akbar Muhammad, who wants to have a few words to say to you, okay?
Yes, sir.
I give way to Brother Akbar.
Lady can't count, can the lady can't count out? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Muhammad got the devil on the run. That's right. Muhammad got the devil on the run. That's right.
And so he didn't send them to the battlefield, he led them into the battlefield. And this is what the minister has done to the nation. He's given us a new light. He's given us new strength, you know. He's re-energized the entire nation of Islam. And I want you to count your assets. We're in 163 cities in America. 163. We got the only national black newspaper, that paper you have in your hand. We are respected in the community. This work that the minister has invited us to, he said he wanted to be consistent. He don't want us to start, because we got a reputation of starting projects. And when the minister's going on to do some greater work, we let those projects fall apart. But we need men who are going to hold.
Just 1 second there, family. Go ahead, Sister Claudia.
Sorry, could everyone see the screen properly? Somebody said they can't see. It's just a blank screen.
Oh, really?
Could you just put a 1 if you can see?
If you can see the screen, dear family, let us know. Put a 1 in the chat so that we know that you are viewing, because somebody can't see. Somebody's not seeing the screen right now. I can see a 1. I can see a 1. So we're going to continue. Yeah, lots of 1s coming in there, family. So we're going to continue. Brother Alvin, is it?
He can't see.
Come on, brothers. Maybe reboot that computer. Let's go, man. I want you to see this.
It up. If the minister's not able to go on the street, do we stop going? No, sir. Thank you. But we got to be consistent. The minister said we don't want to fall down on this. We don't want it to start good and then it begins to peter out, or you become battle fatigue. Okay, you a mighty P.O.W.E.R. If the minister say we got to keep it going, then as the mighty P.O.W.E.R, we must keep it going. Thank you. May Allah bless you today. Assalamu alaikum.
163 cities, Nation of Islam in the United States of America, and all over the world, dear family.
Okay, well let me give you an invitation to where we at.
Our Hebrew brothers and sisters are now growing.
How do you feel about seeing the Muslims walking in?
It's different, but that's the way you're supposed to do it. Go out of number. That's right. If you're going for good cause, go ahead and do it. If that's what you believe. Amen?
Think this is going to change the community?
It should. It gave an impact on me. That's what we all supposed to do. We believe in something, go out and promote it. Amen?
All right.
Amen.
All right. Bye-bye. Why do you think we need this?
I think this is black neighborhood. It's been back for years and years, baby. I've been here 72 years.
How has the neighborhood changed?
It's nice. It's good. Changed a lot. A lot.
You saw the Muslims out here today. What does that mean to you?
I mean, black brothers are strong. Right. And I love it. I love it.
Inspire our people.
Soldiers are with. Home soldiers are with. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4.
What did you think about when you saw them come through today, the Muslims?
I'm thinking that it's actually a good thing to see a lot of African American brothers out here doing their thing, and especially on the holiday, taking time out of their day to come out to the community. I think it's a good thing.
You think it'll help quell some of the crime and violence in the neighborhood?
I think it'll take some time, but eventually, yeah.
What's your hope for this community?
I just hope for it to get better overall. Nothing specific, just better overall. I've lived here my whole life and I've seen absolutely no changes. So
It's disappointing?
Yeah.
That's a lie. 1, 2, message 3, 4, count! 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim.
So what did you think when you saw the, excuse me, Muslims?
All right.
What did you think?
I just thought it was a movement, man. So I was just immediately attracted to it. You know, I'm like, wow, you know, remind me of the Malcolm X movie, you know. So I'm like, man, this is nice right here. It's beautiful to see that, you know, just Black Sea brothers just doing their thing, man. That was nice. I really like that.
You think it'll stop some of the crime and violence in the community?
Oh yeah, I hope so, because some of the young brothers can see what's going on, especially they can be a part of something, you know, clean cut, nice, as an organization. So yeah, I definitely like that. Maybe we, you know, we could do something, have a change, just like Obama say, just change.
Young lions need to see older lions.
How you feel? Fine, sir. I look good. We out here with our people, you understand? Yes, sir. Ain't nobody scared of our people. Only people scared of their people. I don't know. We ain't scared of ours. Anybody else scared of their people? Because we can't be scared. You understand? Yes, sir. Left, right, left, peace. Good. Left, right, left, peace. Good. How you feel? Fine, sir. How you feel? Fine, sir. Come on out, brother.
Talk about this movement that's fanning out across the city, building up to the Up Fest.
Well, what we.
Dear beloved family, this is what this reality is all about. It's this kind of unity. Mm-hmm. Is it a pipe dream? Do you believe that when we talk about Hebrews and Muslims and Rastas and Christians coming together in unity, is it a pipe dream, dear family? Or a reality that's already started and must be continued until the logical conclusion of the complete resurrection of the people of God? That's who I'm talking to right now. I'm talking to the people of God. But we've got to be raised again, man, to another level where we become a unified people, irrespective of labels that we wear. Can we unite and come together, dear family? We're styled in the scriptures as the children of Israel, who would be taken into bondage for 400 years and then come out having great substance. Dear family, this is who we are. And we got to put away this idea that we can't come together and unify, even though one man is calling himself a Hebrew and the other man is calling himself a Muslim. Dear family, when you really get to know the reality of what all of these labels mean, let me give you an example that I learned from the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. Listen to how the minister breaks it down and makes it so simple that a baby, a child, could understand it. Guess what, family? My mother taught me that 5 and 2 is 7. Sister Claudia's mother taught her that 6 and 1 is 7. And I'm guessing that some of you who are watching this right now, that your mother taught you that 4 and 3 is 7. Now, wouldn't we be a very ignorant people if we began to argue over whose mother was right? You see, all of our mothers were teaching us how to get to 7, but just via a slightly different route. Did you know that this is exactly what's happened with all of the prophets of God who have come over the ages? That all of them taught the same thing, but just because they may have used a different language or been in a different time period, we think that these prophets were all teaching different religions. They didn't teach different religions. They taught the same old-time religion, whose basic principle is obey God. Be righteous, be good, do the will of God. That's what it is all about. We are Hebrew, we are Muslim, we are Christian in the best context of that word. Even though, let me explain to you what Christian means. Christian means to be crystallized into oneness with God, following the example of Jesus the Christ. That's the crystallization of one becoming one with Christ. Come on, family, it's not that difficult. It's not that complex. We have to, if we're intelligent people, unify today. Let's listen to the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan with the Hebrews.
In the audience today is Prince Asiel Ben Israel. Would you come up, Nasi?
The volume's a little bit low. I think it gets a little bit louder when the minister comes down off the platform. It's a pretty old recording. Here is Prince Asiel Ben Israel in Mosque Mariam with the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, one of the African Hebrew Israelites.
Struck a truce in the gang-related killings. And Nasik Asiel Ben Israel and Brother Gator and these brothers, I know that they're Hebrew Israelites. Come on up, brothers, please. Have been working with Nasik Asiel Ben Israel and brother and others. Brother Fontaine from the Black Disciples. Where's brother? He's on his way. These brothers have been working to bring about a truce. And I think they deserve our gratitude. Nasik Asiel Ben Israel, Brother Gator, Brother Fontaine. See, what the enemy doesn't understand is that God is raising an army in the streets. And these young men are generals. They're warriors and teachers. And they're tired of killing each other. And they developed a button. There it is. And on this button they have all the symbols that they wore under. Crescent, the five-pointed star, the six-pointed star of David. So today we brought together my Hebrew Israelite brother from the nation of Israel with the nation of Islam. These are Hebrews and Muslims that love each other. Yes, sir. I don't know about the Jews over there now and the Muslims, they don't get along. But these, yes, sir, we are one. Yes, sir. And so the six-pointed star of David, which is a great symbol, and isosceles, two equilateral triangles, one up, one down, six sides, 6 points, six stars, six angles, and every angle 60 degrees. Beautiful symbol. The five-pointed star of the nation of Islam. Beautiful symbol. And the crescent. But these are symbols. All they do is represent a great truth. You are not a symbol, a real thing. So we shouldn't let the symbols divide what the symbols were designed to guide the real people of God into
the real people of God, dear family. The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan embraced the African Hebrew Israelites who were based in Dimona, Israel. And they embraced us in turn under the leadership of His Excellency Ben-Ami and also Prince Asiel Ben Israel, both of whom, may Almighty God Allah be pleased with them, have now passed on. And we pray that the leadership that is currently leading our African Hebrew Israelite brothers and sisters is still following in that great tradition of nation unity between Black people wherever we're found all over the world. I pray, dear family, that those Hebrews that recently took to the streets in New York in support of our two brothers who have been mislabeled and slandered, that they are also intelligent enough to recognize that this is a day and a time for our collective unity. Because the enemy has already united us. You heard what they're calling you, racist, Hebrew, black, racist, anti-Semitic. Come on, man. Don't you understand that it's time that we also put aside these labels that we think divide us, because that's how some of us think. Whether we call ourselves Christian, Rasta, Pan-Africanist, nationalist. I mean, there's so many labels that different Black people wear today. And unfortunately for many of us, we can't think beyond the label. And so we remain a divided people. And I'm saying it goes deep. Nigeria is a label. Kenya is a label. Ethiopia is a label. Understand that we need a United States of Africa. Jamaica, Barbados, Barbuda, all of these places, Trinidad, are all labels, again, that stops the United States of the Caribbean. Come on, brothers and sisters. It's time for us to, you know, put aside the labels and recognize your brother and sister in the Isles of the Pacific, okay? And wherever we're found on planet Earth, because that's what the enemy absolutely fears. That's what makes him tremble. The idea that we would begin to really understand that it's our unity that will absolutely set us free overnight. Dear family, I hope you are following what we are trying to share with you this evening before we get back into our subject of the silly season part 3. And again, I make no apologies for repeating elements of these teachings, repeating elements of the message, because, you know, when you go to the gym and you want to get fit, you want to, you know, develop that cardiovascular system, you better be doing some running and some breathing exercises that would enable those lungs to expand and contract and expand and contract. It's the repetition of the exercise that ultimately makes us fit and healthy. You want to build some muscle, you can't go to the gym once. You got to go continuously over and over again and pump that iron until you literally exhaust the muscle to the point where the muscle sends a signal that it's exhausted. The brain receives the signal and determines that now we have to build more muscle because there's a problem there. This is how we build muscle, but it's through reps, it's through repetition. And the same principle applies to spiritual guidance and the teachings and the word. It's not something that you do once, dear family. It has to be repeated, just like the enemy's propaganda that we get every single day, 24 hours, 7 days a week on repeat cycle. Let us bear witness with the minister to what we have been taught about Xmas, and the bigger picture, bigger than Xmas, is the war between God and Satan. Let us bear witness, dear family, to this reality.
Moses lifted Israel up, and Nimrod came and broke the civilization of Moses. That's right. Nimrod is who you're really celebrating on the 25th day of December. You're not celebrating the birth of Jesus Christ. And if you are, you're making a mockery of it. You drink more alcohol on his birthday than any other day in the year. And you've turned the so-called birthday of Jesus Christ into a commercial feast of foolishness. Santa Claus has knocked Jesus out of the top spot. And the merchants who don't even believe in Jesus are busy selling you foolishness, making themselves rich and you poor for another year on the basis of a lie. And that's why they call it Xmas. Because you don't know who it is that you are worshiping. Where did you get this Christmas tree from? What does that have to do with Jesus Christ? And in all your churches, you have this big tree. Look at what Jeremiah the prophet says. It warns you not to follow the way of the heathens. For the heathens go in the forest and they cut down a tree. And they fasten it down and they deck it with silver and gold. Ain't that what you do? And when you try to tell the Christian that this is a heathen practice, they say, well, I don't care. My father did it, my mother did it, I'm gonna still do it. And you paying $10, $20, $30 for a tree. And then
apologies, thank you, DJ Mr. P. Yeah, sorry, I was speaking with my volume down. I was just thanking Brother Victor Muhammad for putting in the chat Jeremiah 10 for all of us to be able to go and research. And I was saying that Brother Victor put it in the chat a millisecond before the words came out of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan's mouth. That's where you can find definitive information about this tree that we go and put into our house and the warning contained in the scripture against doing such, because it is the practice of heathens. So we're going to go back over it so that the minister can say it again.
And you paying $10, $20, $30 for a tree, and then the tree dries up and burn you, still do it. And you paying $10, $20, $30 for a tree. And when you try to tell the Christian that this is a heathen practice, they say, well, I don't care. My father did it, my mother did it, I'm gonna still do it. And you paying $10, $20, $30 for a tree. And then the tree dries up and burn you up in the house with your foolish self. Con Edison can't wait till Christmas comes to con you out of some more money with your lights burning. Who made up this lie and forced it on the church? For 2,000 years, Moses' wisdom was supposed to last, but Nimrod broke it up, and Jesus was born in Palestine. And the darkness of the Caucasian people was such that they didn't want to hear his preaching. That's right. That's right. Jesus told them, my word has no place in you.
Listen.
They didn't want to hear what he said. That's right. And they trumped up lies on him, and they killed him. Right to this day, the Jews don't believe in Jesus. But you all believe in them.
Did you hear what the minister just said, beloved? Do you understand that the Jews actually don't believe in Jesus?
That's right.
I mean, how many of us even understand that? And did you know that most of us as Black Christians, the Black Christian world, believes in them and believes that they are the chosen people of God and not us? Yet they don't even believe in Jesus. I mean, man, I do wish we would put our thinking caps on. Go ahead, Sister Claudia.
In the chat, Brother Andre has asked, who is Jesus?
Oh, I don't even know if I want to go there today. I'll say this to you, dear family. You know, again, the Bible is not a book of history. It is a book of prophecy. It's not talking about things that happened then. It's talking about things which are happening now. And the man you are listening to, I'm not talking about Brother Leo Muhammad. I'm just a little baby in these teachings. But the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan is more than who you think he is. And the most honorable Elijah Muhammad is more than who you think he is. But unfortunately, most of our people, dear family, don't even begin to understand that the people that you are looking for, whether you're looking for the return of Jesus, the coming of the Messiah, Mahdi, if you are Orthodox Muslim, these men, this man is present, is here today. But again, I think I may have mentioned this last week, because we have been fairy taled, because we've been cartoonized, we're expecting the clouds to open and some cartoon-like thing to take place on the planet, not realizing that the scripture is talking about men like you and me, the only difference being that they have been infused with knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, and they have that direct connection to our Creator. Why do we call him in the Christian oft-repeated prayer, our Father who art in heaven? How can he be the father of the members of the human family and not be a man? But as I said, I'm really not going to go there today. I hope that kind of answers your question to some degree, dear family. I can tell you this: Jesus is not a Caucasian with blonde hair and blue eyes. He don't look nothing like that.
They don't even believe that Jesus was a prophet. So if they don't believe that Jesus was a prophet, they can't believe that the New Testament is from God. They don't even follow that book. You know why? Because the New Testament is a book of forgiveness. And I heard at Dorothy Tillman's day, when we were standing for Dorothy and for Alderman Streeter and the Congressman Bobby Rush, your lawyer said, we Jews don't forgive and we don't forget. That's right.
Just think about that. They have the audacity to say they don't forgive and they don't forget. You know, again, in the Christian prayer, we say, forgive us our trespasses as we have forgiven those who trespass against us. See, all of us as human beings, we're constantly seeking the forgiveness of God for our sins and the things that we do. But here you got a people who they ain't forgiving nobody. And I mean, again, think about Black people, think about us, how forgiving we are to others, not so much to ourselves.
No, to others. They can murder our family and we say, oh, we forgive.
You remember that one, Ruth, in the church? Went in there, killed all those Black people at a prayer meeting. And then the police took him to the burger shop to get a burger before they took him to the police station.
If they took him there.
And then before the boy was even charged properly or arraigned, as they say in America, or convicted, or you even heard anything out of his mouth, you had Black people in that church talking about, we forgive him. My God, my God. But here on the other hand, you got Jews who saying they don't forgive and they don't forget nothing. I just want you to think about that when you think about who are the people of God.
I put that in my head. I said, you don't forgive and you don't forget, as sinful as you are. Don't you hope that God will forgive you? But you can't forgive nobody. What did Jesse do? Jesse Jackson.
This is the ministers talking about the time when Jesse Jackson uttered the term Hymietown, which is supposed to be some type of slur that's used against Jews in New York. But Jews themselves used the term, and so many people, it was just a term that people use, one of these slang type of terms that people use. But when Jesse Jackson was running for the presidency of the United States of America, and some brother, so-called brother, overheard Jesse in a private conversation use that term that, like I said, everybody, just like everybody says nigger and the nigger this and the nigger that. But when he used the term Hymietown, this brother went and publicized that to the so-called Jews, and they absolutely jumped all over Jesse Jackson and had the brother apologizing and making speeches and begging for forgiveness. And ultimately, he had to, he did not make it in that race to become the president.
Didn't do no harm to Jewish people. He used the word Hyme and has been paying for it ever since. Jump, Jesse.
How high, massa? Because this is what they do to us. And this is why Ye is getting so much flack now, because really he's refusing to jump. He's refusing to bow. And the same with our brother, the basketball player, Kyrie Irving, he's refusing to jump and to bow.
Any mockery. He has done everything to show them that he is not a hater of Jews. And they still don't like him. He made a brilliant speech in Brussels to the World Congress of Jews. And they told him, fine speech. Go do that in Brooklyn among black people. And they told Reverend Jackson, according to what I read, the same thing that the rabbis told me. In order for you to get good relations with us, we got to have a track record on you. Meaning you can't say one good thing and do one good thing. You got to have a long history of doing good. And maybe then.
You hear the arrogance? This is the arrogance in particular. I mean, it's towards the whole human family, the whole human population, but in particular against the black man and the black woman. We are, they talk to us as if we are still their slaves. And make no mistake about it, they had slaves, and they were some of the biggest enslavers of our people and financiers of the slave trade, financiers of the ships that carried us across the Atlantic. This is the reality, and we can prove it at no limit of time from their own writings, their own scholars, their own rabbis, their own historians who recorded everything that they did, and the major role, not small role, the major role that they have played in the destruction of the black man and woman. And those of you living in the modern era, in the contemporary reality, you need to take a look at Hollywood. You need to look at these record companies, the industries that have absolutely played a role in the dehumanization of black people through so-called popular culture and this mad, crazy gangster rap and all the rest of the crap that passes for entertainment in the black world today, promoted and financed by this same group. Understand me, because we're not playing today. This ain't a play day, and we're not bowing, and we're not jumping, and we're not scratching where we don't itch. Dear family, we are dealing with The silly season, part 3.
How did I respond? You ought to know how I responded. I'm not no dog, brother. Go ahead. You don't have a bone for me. You don't tell me up Fido, down Fido, sit.
But imagine if we're calling ourselves dogs. See, no wonder a man can tell you up Fido, down Fido, sick Fido. See, imagine the people of God.
That's right.
Turning God backwards now to spell dog and labeling one another like that and calling the black woman a female dog using that B word. Come on, man. Don't you understand how we're being played, how we're being manipulated? But when you have a man who knows he's a man, and not just any man, but a man of God, you can't boss a man like that around, dear family. You can't make a man like that bow or jump. Let's go back.
Respond? You ought to know how I responded. I'm not no dog, brother. Go ahead. You don't have a bone for me. You don't tell me up Fido, down Fido, sit Fido. That's right. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad don't make us like that. No, you're right. If we're gonna die, and we're gonna die, let's die men. Don't die on your knees.
Who's watching who don't think they're gonna die? Who's not gonna die? I just want you to think. We're all gonna die. Everybody dies. That's reality, dear family. Can we come to terms with that? Don't you want to die like a man and a woman? Or are we so cowardly that we want to die as a beggar, as a weak nothing, crying to an enemy who has no mercy, has no heart? You can't appeal to his better self. It doesn't exist. Again, we can prove that over no limit of time based on history and what's happening right now. And so, dear family, I hope, I know some of you might be scared or whatever, you know, and some people can't take this kind of teaching, and some of us, oh, we're not too sure about Farrakhan. Let me tell you something, man. See this brother? This is the most beautiful human being black people could ever dream of having, especially in a day and time like this. See, again, I say again, because I know some of you, you know, you say, oh, you really like Brother Leo Muhammad. Well, let me tell you something. If it wasn't for this man, Brother Leo Muhammad would have nothing of substance to say to you tonight and all the other nights that we've spoken together. This is my leader, teacher, and guide. This is the man who took me out of a pit of hell, a crazy lifestyle, man, and gave me something that transformed my life. And I know that if he could do that for me, he can do that for you. He can do that for whoever has the humility to recognize that we don't know what we think we know. And that we got to stop listening to our enemy telling us about this man and start listening and analyzing for ourselves. I hope you're getting it, dear brothers and sisters, because we're living in some serious times and we got to change if we want to be the successful, beautiful, powerful people that God created us to be.
No, you're right. I'm not no dog, brother. Go ahead. You don't have a bone for me. You don't tell me up Fido, down Fido, sit Fido. That's right. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad don't make us like that.
No, you're right.
If we're gonna die, and we're gonna die, let's die men. Don't die on your knees, begging somebody to recognize you. Stand up like men. And if we're gonna die, let's die like men, taking other men down with us.
What do you think of Vladimir Putin? What do you think of him? You think you're looking at a man on his knees? Or you think you're looking at a man taking on the whole collective West and all of their power? These are the same people who destroyed Iraq and killed Saddam Hussein and his sons. These are the same people who destroyed Libya and Muammar Gaddafi and his revolution. These are the same people who attacked Syria and are trying to kill and destroy the Syrian nation and destroy their leader, Assad. These are the same people. But some of you think they're the good guys, right? These are the same people, the only people who have ever used nuclear weapons against the Japanese, Hiroshima and Nagasaki. These are the people that some of us think are the good guys. These are the same people I keep telling you all the time. Out of the 193 countries affiliated to the United Nations on our planet, this country, so-called Great Britain, has been to war, had conflict with 171 of the 193 countries affiliated to the United Nations. Think about that. Who's the troublemaker? Who's the warmonger? Who's the bloodshedder? Who is it that you hear going around talking about punishing other nations, putting sanctions on other nations? Who is it, man? Who are the nations that have military bases in other people's countries all over the planet? But you believe that these are the good guys. Let me tell you something, man. You see, Vladimir Putin, he's demonstrating what a man looks like. Just because you're bombarded 24/7 with the media telling you that he's the evil demon and he's done this thing. He just got up one day and decided to just attack Ukraine for no reason, unprovoked. You believe that? You need to start studying, dear beloved family, because this enemy is wicked.
I'm almost finished. Now Jesus is dead. Moses is dead. But Moses said, one is coming that'll be like me. The Quran says a man like Moses is coming, doesn't it? The Torah says God was going to bring a man like Moses into the world. Moses was an emancipator. No, not emancipator. Moses was a liberator. Because emancipation don't mean liberation.
I feel liberated, man. Did you know that if he's going to be a man like Moses, then the conditions has to be like what Moses faced? See, Moses had to bring a people out from under a wicked system, from under a wicked Pharaoh. I just want you to think about your and my condition, dear family, as the minister concludes his remarks.
Somebody gonna need a deliverer. Jesus comes into the world. They kill him. They didn't only kill Jesus, they killed his disciples. Everything attached to Jesus they killed. Talk to me. They hung Peter upside down. Is that right? Why did
and some of us think we know the scriptures, but do we even study? do we know what and who do what they do? Do we know what the complexion of that brother called Jesus was 2,000 years ago? And that it was the Romans. Who are the Romans, man? Where is Rome? Is it in Africa or is that Europe? Do we understand who conspired to destroy that man 2,000 years ago? And what do you think would happen to the man that he prophesied to come after him? And that they all talk about the second coming. Do you think that when this man appears, they're going to love him? Oh, man, brothers and sisters, it's time to wake up.
They killed Jesus. They didn't like his word. After he was dead, they altered that. Do you think you have the message of Jesus? If you did, where's your power? Jesus opened blind eyes, deaf ears, made the dumb speak, raised the dead to life, cleansed the leper. Where's your power?
And by the way, for those of you who don't understand, that's the work that the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan does. Okay? Some of us had a leprous mind. You know what that means? A white mind in a black skin. Some of us were lame. We couldn't walk. We couldn't do nothing for ourselves. Some of us couldn't speak. Some of us were deaf. Some of us were blind. See, because, you know, when if what's exciting you, because the other day, we did a show the other day, and I know I was thinking about this, and I'm not accusing any of you on here of this, but the numbers were kind of down that day, but the World Cup had started. See, so understand this, dear family. If these are our distractions, if it's the World Cup, if it's Wimbledon when that comes around, and all the other distractions, if it's the latest miniseries on Netflix, man, I'm telling you, dear family, we think we see, we think we hear, we think we speak. And when you listen to some of the language that we utter, we're not speaking anything of the nature of God. We are a reflection or an echo chamber of Satan. Dear family, understand what's going on.
You around here singing and marching, talking about we shall overcome. The master said he overcame the world. Where's your power? You don't really have the true message of Jesus. You got a watered down, corrupted message.
And you see, dear family, when you got that image on your wall at home, that's
deep.
That's the watered down. You go to these churches and you see these images on the smoked glass windows of the little fat white girls with Kentucky Fried Chicken wings on their back, and you think that's what the angels look like? Come on, man. Time to wake up, dear family. African people and European holidays, a mental genocide. I mentioned it to you before. Get a copy of the book, man. Get a copy of the book. It's by Ishaka Musa Barashango. Get the book. It's not the only book. There's so many books out there now that can teach you about the European and his way of life and his practices. Okay? How Europe underdeveloped Africa. There's so many that you should be getting into your library and studying in order to come to a proper understanding. The Key to the Colors by Dr. Francis Cress Welsing. You should be studying now. You should be reading and building your knowledge base about the reality, dear brothers and sisters. Because the book shouldn't just be a book that we read or a saying that we say, But we need to realize that if we do not create for ourselves a separate and alternative lifestyle, then we are being bombarded 24/7, 365 days a year with that which is killing us. That's why the book is called A Mental Genocide. It's killing us mentally, spiritually, emotionally, socially, and economically, while preventing us from achieving a full freedom, justice, and equality for ourselves. This is what Christmas does. It's designed to hurt us on all of those levels. And when we participate in it, it does. You may not think so because maybe you're inebriated now with too much alcohol. Maybe you've eaten too many mince pies, not even realizing the origin of mince pie. Did you know that the origin of mince pies was curdled blood? What they call blood pudding and minced, brothers and sisters, I wish more of us would come into this knowledge. Anything, Sister Claudia?
Well, I thought it was very interesting when you were talking about that we're all going to die. General P.O.W.E.R did make a comment that, yes, not everyone lives, which is true.
Absolutely.
Isn't it? We're here, but you're
not everyone is living.
Yes, yes.
Beautiful point by General P.O.W.E.R. Not everybody is living.
No, no.
You see, and that's why the scripture calls us the dead.
That's right.
And, unfortunately, again, because of the cartoon world that we've been brought up in, people think that the dead is talking about people buried 6 feet under in a grave. No, talking about the living dead, the walking dead, the zombies. Mm-hmm. Human beings who are literally like zombies because we can't go for self.
Right. Don't have the knowledge, the wisdom.
Wow. Wow, wow, wow. A full year of British holidays, dear family. Did you know that we are, they've got us wrapped up in their thing the whole year round. And again, if you're not observing, you don't realize just how encapsulated all of us are in this world. Whether, like I always remember back in the day, people saying, certain people I had conversations with saying, why, we don't know politics here, brethren. And I thought to myself, yeah, that sounds good, no politics. But guess what? Whether you're into politics or not, politics is into you. You got policy makers making policies every day that you and I are forced to live by, to adhere to, whether we like it or not. And so whether you're into politics or not, politics is influencing you in your life. And dear family, I'm saying you better get into it in the sense that you better understand what's going on in order to be able to change it, change your own reality. You see, Bob Marley's song, taken from Emperor Haile Selassie's speech, says, emancipate yourself from mental slavery. None but ourselves can free our minds. See, we keep expecting somebody external to come and do something for us. We got to do it for ourselves, dear beloved brothers and sisters. The 2 volumes of the book by Ishaka Musa Barashango, European Holidays, A Mental Genocide. The 2 volumes of the book gives more or less the following descriptions, dear family. The books highlight European historical holidays and events charting the cultural destruction of indigenous peoples. All the major holidays are critiqued and examples are examined. It shows how the European man created celebrational holidays based upon the genocide and almost extermination of the Indians, in quotation marks, population, and also of the oppression, enslavement, and brutal genocide of the African peoples. It highlights that African/Black people are joining the descendants of the same murderers who enslaved them. I don't like when black people write and we say them, and I always say who enslaved us. I put myself in there because, you know, we got to learn how to empathize more with one another. Always put yourself in the frame, talking about black people, them, as if it doesn't affect you and me. Who enslaved us? The solution is for indigenous peoples to create and celebrate their own holidays. We got holidays, man, and we need to start celebrating that which is our own and give up these people's stuff.
On that point, Brother Victor said a good book to read is The Festival of Fools.
Wow.
By Harvey Fox.
Wow. The Festival of Fools by Harvey Fox. Did brothers put that in the chat? Yeah. Yes. So check these things out there, family. You should be building your library. Even if not for yourself, at least for your children, man. Encourage your children to get off the phone, get off the smartphone for a while and get into the pages of a book, man. It's phenomenal. You know, did you know that one of the most powerful exercises you could do is to read, because of what it does to the imagination, image, and nation, how it makes you see? This is a global holiday, New Year's Day, January the 1st. A Scottish holiday is Hogmanay, whatever the hell that means. That's between December the 31st and January the 2nd. In the UK, they've got 12th night. These are holidays all throughout the year. And they've got Epiphany. That's between January the 5th and the 6th. In the UK, they've got Candlemas in February, on February the 2nd. And another global one is Valentine's Day, at least global in the sense of the Europeans and the Western world. Valentine's Day, February the 14th, where we go and get chocolate and all kinds of nonsense and madness to give to our give to our partner or give to somebody that we want to get with. Global is St. Patrick's Day, all throughout, again, the Western world, you know, or if you're Irish, this takes place on March the 17th. Christian, in the Christian world, you've got Shrove Tuesday, Shrove. I'm a Jamaican, beloved. I struggle with some of these words. Shrove Tuesday, AKA, or also known as Pancake Day. That happens in March and April. Yeah, that's why I got the MA Day. March and April, the day before Lent. Okay, Lent, that takes place in March and April. Mothering Sunday, that's the 4th Sunday of Lent. Maundy Thursday, Thursday before, that's the Thursday before Easter. Easter, which is March and April. Easter, when they say that Jesus was crucified and then rose again in 3 days. But when you do the maths, they say he was killed on Friday evening and he rose on Sunday morning. Well, do the maths, and what you'll find is that it's not 3 days.
Yeah, but it's not even the same month.
Yeah, and it Easter changes every month, but this is supposed to mark, if Leo Muhammad dies on a particular day, every year after that it will be the same day that I died on. Okay, and I deliberately use myself as an example and say that because I'm telling you, man, we've got to get out of this scared to death thing where we can't even imagine dying. Everybody is gonna die, and I'm telling you, Leo Muhammad ain't got no death wish, but we got to stop this scared to death Negro mentality, where and some of us now, we've picked up the European pagan practice of, if we say something, you know, we say, oh, touch wood. The wood is gonna give us luck now and stop us, and let's not walk underneath that ladder.
Exactly.
Let's not break a mirror. Oh, come on.
If you see a black cat.
Yeah, don't let, if you see a black cat, oh my God. And on New Year's Day, don't let a black person be the first one to cross the threshold of your house.
It's bad luck.
Oh, brothers and sisters, we have been so bamboozled, hoodwinked, and taken, man. April Fool's Day, April the 1st. St. George's Day, also known as England's National Day. That's April the 23rd. May Day, May the 1st. Troop in the Color, that's in June. Wimbledon tennis tournament. See, and these are like national holidays that the whole world acknowledges. Did you know that Wimbledon is the oldest tennis tournament on the planet, and everybody tunes in? And then you've got something called swan upping. I remember reading about it one time. I think they called the swans, or they grabbed the swans, and they you know, when they put those things on their legs, identification things, something like that. But it's swan upping. That's the 3rd week of July. Then you got the Notting Hill Carnival. I mentioned that because how many of us appreciate that they've put that the Notting Hill Carnival is now a recognized national holiday, but not because it's an African Caribbean event. It is because it's now been taken over by corporate Britain, and it no longer belongs to the Black community. Those of us who have any understanding of history, go back and study how the so-called Notting Hill Carnival began, and it didn't begin as some revelatory, you know, reveling and dancing and winding up on policemen and drinking alcohol out of policemen's helmets. It didn't begin like that, dear family. It was about protesting over our ill treatment, over our murder, over our suffering mob attacks in the streets of London. That's what the origin of it was. But as you see, over the years, it's metamorphed now into some foolishness, and it's been taken over to the degree where sometimes you have to, you can't even get a stall there as a Black person because it's all corporate controlled now. Dear family, brothers and sisters, you are tuned in to the Image and Nation show entitled Welcome to the Silly Season, or the Silly Season Part 3, Image and Nation, promoting and advertising goods and services for the benefit of our community. Please take note of the following and support, dear brothers and sisters. We need your support. Check out, visit the tribe, visit www.tribenation2019.com and support the brothers and sisters who are producing beautiful, culturally acceptable garments for us to wear. Check out JJ Sorrel products. Check out @Sorrel 2020 and try the beautiful Sorrel products that are there for your consumption. Go to WYLA for boys and girls age 8 to 16, producing our future leaders. We need future leaders, and we need to start teaching them from now. Visit www.wylauk.com and become a part of WYLA with your child, learning about their leadership potential, which is all inside of them and just needs to be drawn out. Visit www.natureshairproducts.co.uk and try the moisturizing hair and scalp oil, as well as beard oil and other natural hair products, dear family. Check out, visit www.p2bb.uk or londonstudygroup19.org and order your Proud to be Black t-shirts, caps and mugs, and say it like you mean it, P2BB. Did you have some information,
yes,
sister?
And just to say, they have their pre-Kwanzaa sale with 15% off the site-wide. And just if you enter the code K2022,
K2022.
Yes.
Say it again, start again.
Yes. The brain.
Yeah.
Right. 15% off. And if you put the code in K2022.
Mm-hmm. Okay, fantastic. Dear family, we continue. Once again, Nature's Hair Products. Can't say enough because the products are magnificent. Visit natureshairproducts.co.uk, and try the beard oil, specially formulated hair butters, and so much more from Nature's Hair Products. We've gotten quite a few orders from North America, from the United States, man. Well done to our brothers and sisters in the United States. Those oils are winging their way across the Atlantic to you. There are no limitations to what we can do when we put our minds to it, and we want to create a nation without borders. Don't forget, brothers and sisters, visit our YouTube channel, the Nation of Islam London Study Group New, that's LSG, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. We say it that, you know, we tune in, we watch the show, whatever, but sometimes we fail to like, which helps these algorithms to, you know, really promote the show and share, get it out there, dear family. You know, send the show to somebody that you love, somebody that you care about, and get them to see what we are trying to do here on the Imagination Show. And don't forget to subscribe, because once again, we want to see those numbers go up. Also, click the donation button if you want to help us in a financial way. Dear brothers and sisters, continuing with these round the clock, literally 12-month of celebrations, European holidays and celebrations that we are all subject to. Harvest Festival on or near the Sunday of the harvest moon. Halloween, October the 31st. Bonfire Night, also known as Guy Fawkes Night, which is on November the 5th, the Gunpowder Plot. Remembrance Day, November the 11th. St. Andrew's Day, November 30th. Black Friday, the 26th of November. Cyber Monday, 29th of November. Advent, December the 1st to the 24th. That's the period that we're in now. They call it the period of Advent, but really it's the winter solstice. Christmas, December the 25th, and Boxing Day, December the 26th. And then the whole cycle starts again for another year, and it's a whole year of capturing the minds and hearts of Black people, having us wrapped up in their European or Eurocentric way of life, while our own lives pass us by.
I like the comment by Miss Anthrope. Too many celebrations with absolutely no reason to celebrate anything.
Absolutely, beloved. And we're not killjoys. What's the sister's name?
Miss Anthrope.
Miss Anthrope. Yeah, thank you very much for that. Absolutely. We you know, it's I'll say it like this. It's like how we eat. We're just constantly eating, and there is hardly any nutritional value in what we're consuming. You see, we're celebrating this one celebration to the next celebration, but what is it benefiting us? How do we actually, what are we actually getting out of all of this celebrating, other than adding to the coffers of our absolute historical and current enemy? Go ahead.
Yeah, we're just giving that up. We're just building Satan's world.
It's crazy, man. Crazy.
We're supporting it. We're upholding it.
That's what we're doing, dear family. You see, they remain in perpetuity and in existence because of us and the way we think about them and the way in which we interact with them. I think it's a real shame how we have allowed the name and legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. to be reduced to what amounts to a couple of mere slogans without any real substance or the real power that defined this beautiful brother's existence. I have a dream, and nonviolence was not the only thing Dr. King stood and died for. I have a dream and nonviolence. Whenever they talk about Dr. Martin Luther King, this is what you hear, these two slogans, as if that was, you know, the totality of what this brother was all about. Listen to what Dr. Martin Luther King had to say when there was a Black uprising in the streets. Listen to his words. He said, "Let us say boldly that if the violations of law," because there was a lot of criticism in the media at the time about the so-called riots. They call them riots, we call them uprisings, of people rising up from the dust of the Western civilization to literally say we exist, we are here, and we're not going anywhere, and we want justice. So Dr. King said, let us say boldly that if the violations of law by the Caucasian man in the slums over the years were calculated and compared with the law breaking of a few days of riots, the hardened criminal would be the Caucasian man. Did you know that Martin Luther King was revolutionary like that? That's the way the man was really talking? He says, these are often, this is Martin Luther King. He says, these are often difficult things to say, but I have come to see more and more that it is necessary to utter the truth in order to deal with the great problems that we face in our society. Martin Luther King, dear family, was a truth teller. Actor and activist Harry Belafonte reported that one day he saw Dr. King quite agitated and preoccupied. And he said, I asked him what the problem was. And the essence of Dr. King's reply was, I fear I am integrating my people into a burning house. I just want us to think about those words. See, because, you know, we think that it was done and dusted. Oh, yeah, you know, integration, that's the way forward or whatever. But do you know that when we were not integrated, we had over 60 towns in North America, and we were highly successful. We had our own hotels, our own schools, our own hospitals. We had things going on, man. Black people were buying airplanes and having our own landing strips in these towns. And then somebody flipped the switch and said, integrate. And then we started to book into other people's hotels. We started
to go to their schools,
queuing up at their lunch counters, demanding to eat with them, demanding to go to their schools and forcing our children into these racist environments. I mean, brothers and sisters, we've been so had, we've been so took, we've been so bamboozled. Listen, man, the man said, I fear I'm integrating my people into a burning house. Dear family, we mourn our loss. He was born in 1929 and was assassinated in 1968. This is the great Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. How many of us know that it was Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. who said, redistribute the pain? In a push to boycott Christmas and holiday spending, a clarion call that was revived in 2015 by the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, touring the United States under the banner of Justice or Else, the theme of the 20th anniversary of the Million Man March. Dear family, Martin Luther King started it, and the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan has revived it, and we must continue it.
This week coming up is Thanksgiving. Such a phony holiday.
Phony, fake.
Ask the Indians, is it a nice holiday for them? The next day is Black Friday. I'd like to give us some marching orders. See,
this is the man who gives marching orders to Black people. Take it or leave it. I know some of you still don't get it, man. Who does he think he is? He's from God, for us, to us, by us. This is a man who has been raised by God to have us fulfill what is written in the scriptures, because we are those people that are written about, the despised and the rejected, the stone that the builder refused, that becomes the headstone of the corner of a brand new world order. That's who we are, dear family. And you see the image, that turkey has to be eliminated. I think I told you a couple of weeks ago that the turkey is part of the vulture family. Ugly bird. We shouldn't be eating that, dear family. That Christmas tree has to be eliminated. That fat Caucasian, Satan, Santa, has to be eliminated with no regrets, man, and start to teach our children something beautiful. Before the end of this series, we may get into Kwanzaa because, you know, we got alternatives and we got other things that we ought to be doing rather than this madness that they call Christmas.
Martin Luther King, in his last speech in Memphis, April 3rd, the day before he was killed. Listen to Dr. King's words. He said, we don't have to argue with anybody. We don't have to curse and go around acting bad with our words. We don't need any bricks and bottles. We don't need any Molotov cocktails. We just need to go around to these stores and to these massive industries in our country and say, quote,
are you listening to Dr. Martin Luther King? See, because the history books are not really telling you this. The popular media is not telling you the kind of man he was and the fact that he's talking about boycotting these stores, boycotting this world and depriving them of money. Redistribute the pain, dear family. We have the power to put whole businesses out of business, put whole nations out of business if we only united and acted in unison.
God sent us by here to say to you that you're not treating his people right.
This is Martin Luther King's words.
And we've come by here to ask you to make the first item on your agenda fair treatment where God's children are concerned. Now, if you're not prepared to do that, we have an agenda that we must follow. And our agenda calls for withdrawing economic support from you.
You hear that? And you hear the language of Dr. Martin Luther King referring to us as God's children? He's talking to these store owners as a different set of people. But it's clear that we are God's children, and he's threatening that we withdraw economic support from them. Do you know that's the only thing that hurts these people? When you hit them in their pocket? Ah, brothers and sisters, man. And we could kill two birds with one stone by depriving them of our hard-earned money and keeping it among ourselves by learning to buy black and to support black.
Dr. King. Now, I hope you haven't gone shopping yet. Listen, this Christmas, let's make it a real mass for Christ. Listen to what I'm saying. Christ is not interested in you going in the store and making the already rich rich, putting yourself in debt for another year to give out gifts. Come on. Jesus didn't ask you to do that. When you go home, take your Bible, look at the 10th chapter of Jeremiah, and know that going out in the forest, cutting down a tree, bringing it home, decking it with silver and gold, that's what the heathens do. You don't need no Christmas tree in your house. That's pagan practice. Leave the tree. Oh, come on, Farrakhan. leave the tree, leave the lights, because you're in the end of the month, Santa ain't paying your electric bill.
Dear family, I hope you're getting the message. We will be continuing this teaching because this is the season in which we are. And did you know, dear family, that it was after the meeting with the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad that in his last speech, the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. said, listen to his words, after he met with the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, he said these words, quote, "But it really doesn't matter with me now. I've been to the mountaintop and I've seen the promised land. I may not get there with you, but I want you to know tonight that we as a people will get to the promised land." I mean, that's so scriptural, man. Why is he talking like that? What is it that he learned? What is it, dear family, that was shared with Dr. Martin Luther King when he sat together with the messenger of God, the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, and they shared a moment? I just want us to think. That's all I'm asking you to do. Put on your thinking cap and understand that this man, Elijah Muhammad, is more than who you think he is. More. And it's not an accident that he produced so many strong men. A man who only went to the 4th grade of school. And look at what he has produced in the nation of Islam. Look, we're in 2022, almost into 2023, and the nation of Islam is still rocking and shaking this world. You got to understand, 163 cities in America, the nation is there, and we are global, all over the world, having tremendous influence among our people, and the enemy is shaking in his boots, and now the Hebrews are standing up. Come on, man. It's our time, dear family. Sister Claudia, any message that you want to give us before we close out?
Just to say thank you all for tuning in from our family in Belize, East Flatbush, Brooklyn.
Beautiful.
Charlotte, North Carolina.
Wow.
Ohio, Mos Mariam.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, Mississippi Delta, Ealing, West London.
Say that again. The headquarters on? Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah. South Africa, Dubai. Thank you for all the newcomers. And excuse me, I don't thank the newcomers for coming.
Yeah, you got to thank the newcomers.
Thank you for your time. And thank you, Percy P, for coming on during your break. You know, we know you're working hard. Just to say thank you to everyone. We really appreciate your time. It means a lot to us. And, you know, we must all continue to study. We've been tricked to think that, you know, to study when you're a child. But we must increase our study as adults.
Lifelong learning.
That's right. It never stops. Even if we reach the age of 102, you still must study and learn.
And the importance of what Sister Claudia is saying there, believe it or not, dear family, if whatever age you are, if you're learning new things, you are growing.
That's right.
You understand? Your brain continues to grow. You are not diminishing. As long as you are in the frame of mind of a student and learning, you are growing and developing. And what that means is that there's another opportunity for you to take your life to a whole different level.
And we must grow into the mind of God.
Into the mind of God. Dear family.
We are all gods.
Ye are all gods, Sister Claudia said. Children of the Most High God. Part 4 of the silly season to be continued next week, inshallah. Inshallah simply means if it be the will of God. If he spares our life, we'll be back next week, same time, same place, 6:30 on Thursday. We look forward to seeing you once again and sharing with you some more of the life-giving teachings of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. Thank you, beloved
Thank
family.
you, family.
I greet you as I found you. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
Praise be to Allah.